Hey guys, welcome to the channel. In this video we're going to be going over 5 things that I love about my 2024 BMW M2 and why you should buy this car if you are considering. This car has been an amazing car for me. I've had it for 8 months now and I love every single bit of it. Every time I get in this car I'm always happy. I love driving it. It's super fast. So let's start off with number 1, the looks. So I know when the G87 M2 came out, as a lot of people are on the internet, everyone hates the new one, right? Every time something new comes out, they hate it. This car, when it first came out, I was kind of like, I was kind of iffy. They were showing it in Zandvoort blue, which in my personal opinion is not a color that I like. So I was kind of like, you know, it doesn't look that great. But once you get it in a different color, it looks amazing. Like, I think this car looks really good. Super wide fenders. So if you guys look here, you see that super wide body on there. Fender, what do you call those, rocker panels. Side skirts, super wide rear end. You can see all that body right there. I just love the way this car looks. It looks so sporty, so aggressive. It definitely looks like something special, you know. It doesn't look like just every other car on the road, especially in this red color. This is Toronto red metallic. Love the way this car looks. And it's super dirty right now. It's not even like in its best form because it's super dirty at the moment. So looks, definitely, I love it. It looks like every other modern BMW inside. I love that. Looks great. The door panel has a cool little design to it. I like the little M2 sill. I like these seats. Everything about it. This interior looks amazing. It's completely updated. The carbon fiber looks cool. For number 2, we're gonna go ahead and pop the hood here. That's number 2. This engine is incredible. So this is what's called the S58. It's a twin turbo inline 6, the X3M, the X4M, M3, M4, and M2. This is just an amazing engine hooked up with the ZF 8-speed automatic. That's another thing we'll go over once we get driving. But this engine has such a great power band. It has decent low end torque. It has really good top end. It has a great wide power band. It never really feels like it falls on its face ever. This car feels like it's always making max power every time you step on it. So this engine is just a masterpiece in my personal opinion. It does look cool with the little engine cover they have on it. The cross brace looks really cool. Love the engine. The powertrain is just amazing. This car does very well in races too. This car definitely punches well above its weight for sure, because this car weighs 3,800 pounds. And this has 453 horsepower, quote unquote, by BMW. And the way this car performs is like it has over 500 horsepower. So I love this engine. I love that it's underrated. I love everything about this engine right here. Except for actually one thing. I don't love everything about it. It doesn't sound the greatest, but that's why I have the stock exhaust. If I do anything with the exhaust, it'll just be a resonator delete, and that'll be it. I'm not gonna mess around with it and make it sound super raspy and gross sounding. All right guys, for number 3, it'll be the space and comfort. Sorry about the wind, let's go and hop inside here. So as you guys can see here, there is tons of space in this car. I'm 6'6", to put into perspective. So this is what my legs look like, right? I'm kind of stretched out. I'm not like super close to the dash. And the seats, by the way, it's not even all the way back. This seat's not all the way back because I don't like sitting, you know, way back and having my arms way out to drive. I like to be a little bit closer to the wheel. Tons of room. I can move my leg around. Tons of room to move my leg around. This bolster stops my leg from hitting the corner here. So it feels like I have just tons of wiggle room in here. My right knee is not hitting the transmission tunnel like it does in my RS3. I have tons of room around here. I have to go way out like that and be awkward for it to actually hit the transmission tunnel. Tons of room in this car. Headroom is absolutely amazing. I got the carbon roof on purpose because I do not like sunroofs because they take away from my headroom. This car, the seat goes down nice and far, and with the bubbly top, it has tons of headroom. So my head, like, I don't know if you guys can see, like the top is right here. My head is like right here. I have tons of room in this car. I can still put on a helmet. I still have tons of room to move around, stretch, sit up in the seat. Even if I sit all the way up in the seat, I still don't touch the top. I'm like sitting way up awkwardly and I'm still not touching the top of the seat, or the top of the headliner. So the space on this car, the comfort is absolutely amazing. These seats, they could be better. You know, the seats could be better as far as like comfort, as far as sportiness, they're great. I can even adjust like the bolsters, like I can adjust these in if I want it to hug me in a little bit tighter. But the seat themselves, it's a little bit harder, on the harder side. It's not like super soft, but as far as like the space, it's just amazing. Like there's so much space to move around. There's so much, it just feels like a much bigger car than it is. This car, to put it in perspective, is 180 inches long, right? A Mustang GT and a Camaro SS, which aren't massive vehicles, they're a whole 8-9 inches longer than this car. But yet inside, this car has way more space than the Camaro, and it's similar space to a Mustang. Might even be better than a Mustang headroom wise, just because the seat goes down so far. So this car is super comfortable. If you're a tall driver, you're gonna have no issue at all driving this car. So all the guys that are 6'6" and stuff, you'll fit just fine in this car, so no issues there. All right guys, now let's take this baby for a spin and go over number 4 and number 5, and also some updated thoughts having owned this car for 8 months. So another thing that's amazing about this car is the turning radius. So this is a super tight street. I don't think I can make a full U-turn, but you guys can just see kind of how sharp this car can turn. So it turns like really sharp, like it's really good. Like this is really amazing. Like I could keep going and make the full turn if I wanted to. And this is a little like 2-lane. This is like super tight. So the turning radius is really good on this car too. You don't have to make 3-point turns all the time. The steering wheel feels amazing. It has really nice, like my hands are pretty big, so the thickness of the steering wheel does not bother me. I can still put my entire like hands around it. It's amazing how much a steering wheel can change the feel of a car. You can go from a car feeling like I don't know, the steering wheel makes such a big difference. That's why I love like leather steering wheels, and I pay attention to all the minor details. Like, does the leather feel good on the steering wheel? Does it, you know, how's the thickness? I pay attention to all this stuff just because this is all the little things that are important to me. And this steering wheel, I love it. It has the leather stitched horn button. It has really nice soft leather going around it. The thickness is perfect, and it feels really good while driving. Like you feel like you're driving something substantial because the steering wheel feels so good. Number 4 is the handling and braking. So this car handles like none other. You know, I don't have a whole bunch of experience driving like cars that handle like really good, like supercars and stuff like that, but in all the cars I've driven, this car is like one of the best handling cars I've ever driven. It handles so well. The braking is insane. Like this car can stop on a dime. The Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires that this car comes with are incredibly sticky, so you can just stop on a dime. You can corner at, I think you can corner at over a G of G-force, like 1.05 G's of G-force. I would love to demonstrate that for you guys, but 1, I'm not a professional race car driver, and 2, here in Vegas there's not a lot of windy roads. I have to go like kind of out of the city and go into like a certain area to get like windy roads. So I can't demonstrate that for you guys, but believe me, the handling is something else on this car. Yes, it's 3,800 pounds, but when you're handling, it feels so good that it doesn't feel like a big heavy car. Because I know 3,800 pounds is kind of heavy for an M2, because people are used to them weighing like 3,600 pounds. Or I think like the first gen M2 weighed like 3,480 or something like that. But this car handles so good that you don't even really like feel the weight, in my personal opinion. For number 5, the ultimate thing I love about this car, well, I love everything about it, but what makes it even better is the value. This car is so inexpensive for what you get, it's not even funny. You can option out a Mustang GT Performance Pack, and it gets basically close to the price of this car. This car is such a bargain for the money. You have the nice luxury BMW interior, the carbon fiber trim, the, you know, the iDrive system, all that stuff. The BMW treatment, you know, taking your car in, getting the loaner, you know, free service for what, 3 years or whatever it is. You get all the luxury experience with the performance. This car is faster than a stock Camaro SS. This car is faster than a stock Mustang GT. This car is faster than a Dark Horse. This car is faster than every single car in its price point. It's faster than an RS3, which I have in my garage right now. It's faster than that car in a roll. I got the carbon roof, which added to the price a little bit, and like the heads-up display and stuff, which honestly, the heads-up display, I don't need it. So mine was 70,000 sticker price, but you can get the same exact performance for 66. The same exact performance and the same nice luxury and everything. So this car is just a performance bargain. It's so fast, it has such great power potential as well. So if you do go through the steps of doing like a femto unlock or a catalytic downpipe and a custom E50 tune, makes 700 wheel plus. And that's just insane how you can just a downpipe and a E50 custom tune, and it makes 700 wheel. Like, that's just insane. And even in stock form, it's super fast. I'm so happy that this car exists because you can get a similar feel in an M3 or M4, but you spend so much money on those cars. You spend close to 100 grand if you get like an X-Drive, or you spend like 90 grand, you know, to get an M3 or M4. That's gonna give you pretty much the exact same driving experience of this. If anything, it drives not as good as this because this has a shorter wheelbase and feels a little bit more playful and more fun to drive. If I didn't have this car and I were to start over and I had a $70,000 budget, this is the car I'm buying right here. And then last but not least, let's go ahead and do a little takeoff here. Let me put ourselves in M2 mode. And look, even the MPG is not that bad. I've been cruising around, I'm getting 24.5. All right, so let me go ahead and put in M2. Let's get on a little bit here. Wow, insane. And the brakes, look at that. The brakes are crazy too. Like, it stops so fast, you have to be prepared for it. Like, this car is just insane performance right out of the box. The transmission, I did mention it briefly while we were up there. The transmission is so great in this car. It's so smooth. It's never jerky. Like, this transmission, I think maybe the whole time I've owned it, maybe did a jerk or something maybe once. The transmission is so smooth. If you're in the third shift setting, it'll shift really aggressively, so that will kind of clunk because it's supposed to be for the aggressiveness. So like, for example, let me show you guys in the third setting, I shift a gear, it kind of does like a little clunk. You see how instant that was though. And then if I put it in the first setting, shift a gear, butter, don't even feel it. You don't even feel the gear shift. And then when you're driving around normally and you don't have it in like all its sport modes, it's so smooth. I know it sounds kind of like I'm fanboying over this car, but after driving the RS3 and, you know, the Golf R, I loved it, but all the cars, the Mustangs and stuff I've had, none of them come even close to how much I love this car, because this car is just such a great performance car and it's such a great car for the price. So that's why you should buy an M2. I like being kind of unique. I don't see a lot of these cars around, so I do like that uniqueness, but definitely buy an M2 if you guys are considering it. It's an amazing car. Let's do another little takeoff here. Nothing crazy. Look at those shifts. So much torque too. Oh my gosh, I love it. By the way, 100 degrees outside and this car is still performing like an animal. Look at this corner. Look at that. Didn't even phase the car at all. Anyway, I'm rambling. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a like and subscribe. Share your thoughts on what you think about the M2 in the comments below. And I will see you in the next one.